All right, here we go, everybody. What's up, SasquatchRunner? And I'm getting some questions and just some DMs on the hip belt pack for the GORUCK 5.0. It's the GORUCKer 5.0, 25 liter. And one of the things after yesterday, even I was carrying 45 pounds, 44 and a half pounds, and it was, it was tiring. It was pulling on my shoulders. And again, it was 10 pounds more than I had been carrying. So I certainly felt that difference just in the overall weight. But I was playing with the adjustment of the hip belt and whatnot and the up and down of the straps to try and get it to kind of, lift up a little bit and give me like a little bit of extra um, pressure off of my shoulders. And while it got better, but I never really found the sweet spot, right? So I did some deep diving and just researching and asking if you could move this hip belt. It has three MOLLE web attachments to the pack, and then that hip belt attaches through it. So yes, I found even through the GORUCK website, you can move it down. So this morning I unlaced it and moved it down to. They also gave you some kind of pros and cons about moving it down. I moved it down simply because I wanted the pack, the weight, to be able to sit a little lower with the belt sitting a little higher so it could come up higher on my hip bones. So yesterday, my hip bone is probably about right there. So yesterday, it was sitting a little bit below that. And so the weight of the load transfer for the hip belt is not fully engaging, right? So it's working, but it's not fully where I wanted it to be. So by changing this and dropping it down, again, it has three different like MOLLE webbing straps that it goes through loops. I moved it down to the second one, and that, in a sense, lowered the pack a little bit, but now it raises the hip belt up. And so basically kind of lifts that belt up so I can sit better on my hips. Now, again, one of the things they talked about from GORUCK was the fact that if you do that, the pack itself, because it's designed with three to loop it to three, it won't cinch it in quite as tight. It's secure to the low back. 100% correct. So as soon as I did this, you can kind of see in this little area right here, it's kind of like a little wing that's sticking out. That would be technically flat against the pack if I had it originally in all three. So because I moved that, it's certainly winged out, and I can feel that the pack itself is not fully snugging up against the bottom of my back like it was. Now, is that a big deal? No. Maybe for some. For me, I don't really notice it. I can feel it. I mean, I definitely felt the weight shift from when I had it with the three to where I have it now. And I think maybe I'd have been a little more in tune with that just simply because of hunting packs. And the hunting pack I carry, which I'll show you in just a second, I just understand that hip belt configuration and how it's supposed to sit and carry the load. Now, in my brain, I'm trying to make a rucking sack with an attachment hip belt like a hunting pack. And again, I get where the design differences are and why they're not the same. Um, again, hunting packs are designed to carry loads greater than 50 pounds. Sometimes you can have a 40-pound load if you're just going on a day hunt. Not a big deal there, but also, so if you're carrying more than 50 pounds, that's what a hunting pack is designed for, right? It's to carry that load and shift a lot of that weight to your hips. Again, I'll show you the differences on that in just a second. But the second thing I noticed is the ruck sack. Doesn't matter what company you're getting it from, they're not solely designed, at least like this. Maybe a military surplus pack obviously has a better configuration. Well, I don't know if it's a better configuration because personally I haven't tried one, but a different configuration, and then how you can stuff all the stuff in there and you have to pack your weight in it. But maybe it's distributed different, but nonetheless, to be able to carry more than 50 pounds. But I'm starting to believe that rucksacks not really made to carry more than 50 pounds. Anywhere from 5 pounds, 35 pounds. Um, and also learning, reading a book, listening to an audiobook about carrying weight. I'll put a show note down in the bottom because I forget what the name it is. Walking with Weight. That's what it is. I forget the author, but it's Walking with Weight. But they're also talking about like, hey, you're only supposed to be carrying about 20% of your weight when we're rucking for health, fitness, stuff like that, right? So if you're going above a third of your weight, that's kind of like the max. A third of my weight, that would be like 70 pounds. Whew, if I had 70 pounds in this thing. I wish I would have had a hunt sack, right? Shift that weight. So, anyways, with that being said, the more these things are designed to carry a little bit lower weight, definitely lower than 50 pounds. They can carry more, right? They can carry up to 70 pounds, I think. This one's designed. If you have a 30 pound plate, a 20 pound plate, that's already 50. You can shove some more stuff in there. You can certainly do it. But would I want to do it? No, not with this thing. Today, I have 50 pounds solid in this. I don't have any water or nutrition, but I have 30 pounds. I got a 30-pound plate, and then I shoved another 10-pound plate and a couple other metal plates that I have, and it's weighing in right at 50 pounds. So I did that once I shifted the hip belt, and just to see, I've been walking around with it now for about an hour, just around my house, doing stuff, getting the filming stuff set up here in the garage. And it is a lot better with for me with the shift of the belt down on the three loops, down to the two. And the simpler reason is because it took pressure off of that shoulder system right there, and I feel it more now on my hips, on my lower back. I can certainly feel it hanging a little lower on my low back area, like the sacrum L5 area. Is it going to be better for running? Maybe. However, with running, as again, I'm starting to figure out this thing's not really designed to run with 40, 50 pounds. Can you? Certainly. Am I going to? Probably not. I'm probably, if I'm going to do some running, rucking with it, I'm going to lower the weight and be somewhere in that 25, 30 pounds where it's easy to manage and easier to move and run with it. With that being said, won't have as much pressure here on the low back and the hips, and should be able to move a little bit more frequently. But the questions that we're asking like, hey, how does that hip belt actually, does it work? Yes, it does work. You have to figure out the positioning for you. I'm 6'1", have a little bit longer torso, 216 pounds. So that was one of the other things I was reading in the articles, is based off of torso length, how that thing fits. Now, I also checked to see if you could lower it, go in the opposite direction, if you could put it on the middle and the bottom one. For me, that wouldn't be good because that basically shifts it in the opposite direction, and that would pull the load more down on my shoulders. So opposite direction of what I'm looking for. Could that work for somebody? Certainly, if you have maybe a shorter torso from hips up to the top, and if it's longer, now it's pulling, it's hanging way too low, right? So now you're looking to try and shift it up. So it can be done. Then with that, I had to change my water bottle carrier. I had this soft flask water bottle carrier, soft opening, if you will. And yesterday when I had the big metal um, micro light in there, I couldn't get it in. And it was also sitting at the three position, so it was up higher. Shoulder range of motion, trying to get that thing in there just didn't work well for me. So I shifted it to the two as the belt shifted, so a little bit higher, or I'm sorry, lower, so it hangs a little bit lower so I can get it in. I tried using the microlight bottle again, the hard face, and because they're almost the same diameter, too much of a pain in the butt. So I'm not going to use that. I have some insulated water bottles that I'll use. I use them for ultra running in my packs. They're not as big. Well, the microlight's 32-ounce bottle. Insulated bottles are only 24-ounce. So there's a little bit there, but I'll probably just put one in the pack. I use those for my salt solutions and sometimes liquid calories. So I'll put one in the pack, one in here, much easier to get in and out. Once it's empty, just stop, unzip it, flip them out, and away you go. So then I won't have to carry as much liquid in the full bladder. Okay, what else? The shoulder or the chest strap, I was also playing with that because one of the things too that we try to get this thing balanced, when you get it balanced here, oh, let me go back to the hip belt. Time out. Let's go back to the hip belt. Man, go Ruck. I hope you're listening because while you can cinch this down this way, let me tell you, check out, well, I'm going to speak from personal experience, but check out Initial Ascent design, the way they have this, how it's looped and formatted, and how it pulls through this side, not through the buckle. Money. Now, here, I have to like, obviously, I cinch it up, I buckle it. You could cinch it down here, but the cinch is coming from right here, which is much harder to get. You can grab hold of this, pull it way harder. On these hunt packs, again, you still have these flappy strips, but when you pull it, it's actually coming from the belt, not from the buckle. So when you pull it, it snugs it this way. Oh man, come on, go Ruck, make that change. I mean, and I know that's probably not your guys' main focus is this hip belt for heavier loads, but it would just make it even nicer for competition carrying, all the stuff that everybody's using GORUCK equipment for. So check that out, GORUCK. Hope you guys do it. Just make these belts so much nicer. Um, okay, so let's go back to the chest strap. So chest strap, I had it when it originally came. It was down here. It was underneath these guys, and so way too low for me. It's pinching across my chest, pinching bottom of my armpits. I moved it up to where these guys are at. It was still somewhat pulling like this, and I don't know, 50-50. I guess I could have left it. I moved it up one more, which matches where my hunt pack is. Here's my clavicle. They talk about having this 1 inch below your clavicle. My clavicle's right here. So it's kind of right on top of my clavicle, maybe half inch below it. So they talk about having it 1 inch below your clavicle for more optimal. So if I did this, if we were like another half inch down there, this is where it would kind of cinch up. Again, I might have to just play with this when I'm carrying the loads and see what I like. Right now, I like it here. It doesn't it doesn't clench me too much. Could I pull it in? Certainly. I can really snug that thing in. I feel a little more pressure on the inside of my armpits when I do that. And I certainly feel the straps come down on top of my shoulders again, which is what I'm trying to get away from and have the load be more on my back. So I don't really like it cinched that tight. So I open it up. I let it sit a little farther out. I have a big shoulder brace, so I let it sit a little farther out, right underneath the top of the chromiums, clavicles, and I don't have that pressure under my hips or under my hips, under my shoulder, my arm pads, and I don't know, just feels kind of great. Okay, so again, 50 pounds. That's what's in this. Here we go. Again, I've been carrying it now for just a little over an hour, um, and it feels all right. Definitely, my traps are sore from yesterday, carrying the 44.5 pounds. But I will say that this configuration, the change in the configuration of the hip belt, is way less pressure fatigue in an hour than what it was yesterday. Now, again, yesterday it was 2.5 hours, 221 or something like that. I was out there, so it was definitely a difference. But this is a plus. We're moving in the right direction. I'll play with the chest strap as we go through and whatnot. But okay, so here, let me go over here, and then I got 50 pounds in this guy too. So I'm probably just gonna show you this real quick. This is an Initial Ascent hunt pack. Again, floated down, 50 pounds. And let me stop and change the angle of this just so we can see a little bit better. All right, here we are with the Initial Ascent pack. Got the 50 pounds in on this, same as the
GORUCK bag. So I'm gonna open my belt and do what I always do. I close it, lock it in, and then what I do here is I lift up, so I kind of shrug to kind of get the weight shifted up a little bit. I bend forward, and then what I'm gonna do here with my hunt pack straps is basically just tug it down. And GORUCK, oh, this is where the money comes in. Guys, this is where it's at right here. This is the cinch part, which is different from the GORUCK and other hip belts. Instead of it pulling from the middle, this guy comes through and attaches and cinches out. So it's pulling from the belt. Yeah, and that thing cinches the whole hip pack, waist pack, the whole thing right on your hips. Now guys, I don't know if that's a patented thing, so GORUCK, you guys have to check that out. But man, if you guys could move to that design, make that cinch from the middle, that would snug that belt up a little bit nicer. And yeah, just be good. Okay, so I'm just gonna untuck my shirt there. Now you can see it got the same 50 pounds in here, and I don't even have the hip strap, or I'm sorry, the chest strap. So certainly it'll wog around, but you can see it's not pulling on my shoulders. It's not compressing load. So we'll go ahead and attach the chest strap just to keep that moving there. And then let's talk about this. As you can see, this pad is huge. This thing is probably 8 inches or so, maybe even 9. I don't even know. It's big, it's thick all the way around, right? Got these side pockets as I'm hunting. I just carry more stuff in there, but that's what cinches onto the hip crest, the iliac crest, and I mean the GORUCK does the same thing, right? It just has a smaller belt, so it's not as much meat hooking onto there. So that's where the huge differences come in with a load carrying hunting pack versus a somewhat carrying load GORUCK pack. Now again, I get it, GORUCK wasn't designing a hunting pack. You know, that wasn't their goal. Certainly they can carry 50, 60 pounds, 70 pounds, what they say, is they're rated at. Would I want to carry that much in the GORUCK bag? Not really. If I could get away with carrying, if I had to carry that much in an event or something, and I could use something like this, I'd probably use this. Now, the downside of using this, as I was talking about, is running or trying to pick up your pace. Although, are you going to be running with 50, 60, 70 pounds? Probably not. Are you going to be shuffling? I mean, maybe you could get a little shuffle on. You can get a shuffle on with this guy, but not as much as you probably could the GORUCK sack. And the reason that is because this belt is so big, it's pushing on the backside of my hips, on my glutes right here. And it just restricts that motion as you're trying to run, as you're trying to jog. So you don't get an effective run jog mechanically. And then it just wears out. It fatigues your glute medius and glutes just a lot quicker is what I noticed. And that was even carrying 35, 40 pounds, right? So you have a heavier weight. I don't even know if you really could run. Of course, hunting pack has load lifters. You know, you just load that in. Could a GORUCK have that? Oh man, maybe. I mean, they got the same shoulder strap, pull the load a little bit tighter. However, the GORUCK bag is designed pretty much to keep that weight up against the low back. So do they really need it? I don't know. Would it help? I don't know. I think it would, but maybe not. But then again, then they're starting to change maybe their overall balance of how they run the pack. I'm just looking down at the GORUCK bag there. So with that being said, those are the differences. Bigger hip belt here than on the GORUCK bag. Different configuration mechanics, obviously a different belt configuration. GORUCK, check that out. If you guys need a tester, if you need some help demoing it, beta testing, I would love to help you guys out and give you my insight, my 2 cents as SasquatchRunner. But I'm sure you guys got people that could help you out with that. But hey, I'm available. Anyways, so those are a couple of the different designs. Again, with the hip belt, as I said, cinching it down, thicker, just different load transfer. Again, it just, you know, these guys, this thing also has a better, not better, but a different frame, carbon fiber that's built in just to this, so you can detach the pack You could put different size packs. This is an 8K pack, so you can get down to a 5K, you can get down to a 3K, and you can make a smaller pack if you don't need as much space as that, but it's all built in the frame. With a GORUCK sack, it's kind of built in all together. So I completely understand those two different designs. I have another hunt pack where it's built into the whole pack itself. Certainly doesn't carry the weight like this guy does, but again, it's just differences. So just wanted to be clear on that because I got a couple of those questions and the differences, and those are the deep dive things I've noticed when I've been messing with these things. And obviously I'm learning and learning each time I do something and I carry it and I shifted it, like now on the GORUCK, and I shifted the molly webbing to the 2 up one, as I talked about a little bit earlier. And so now I'm interested to get out and actually do full movement instead of just carrying it around like I was for an hour or so. So anyways, hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, drop down in the comments. What kind of packs are you guys carrying? Backpacks? Jansport? Like, do you guys have specific hunt packs? Do you have rucking bags? Like what do you got? And what kind of events are you doing? And what kind of weight are you guys carrying? Interested to know, just to hear what else the community is doing. We'll catch you guys later. Sasquatch.